1070 WDIA, Memphis.
He's one of Memphis's most recognized radio personalities.
Bobby, ow, J.
Newly crowned Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer Bobby O.J. O.J. knew what he wanted to do early on, walking the halls of his Batesville, Mississippi high school using his radio voice. At 17, he called a Milwaukee radio station to let them know he could mimic one of their popular DJs, and he didn't disappoint.
He said, "Can you come by the radio station?"
But back then, you needed an FCC license to be a DJ, so radio would have to wait. His older brother helped the 17-year-old get a $1,200 loan for broadcast school right out of high school.
It took me about a year or so to get a job on the radio.
Radio proved to be a rocky road. Fired within 3 months of taking his first gig in Birmingham, a Milwaukee station picked him up and he quickly became program director. After Milwaukee, O.J. crisscrossed the nation with DJ stints in multiple cities, Houston, Dallas, Chicago. But as his popularity rose, so did temptations.
I had a drug problem back then.
What was your drug of choice?
Cocaine. And so even though I was showing up for work every day, they just felt like, we can't have that kind of guy on our radio station.
Humbled, O.J. came home to Batesville for a visit.
And I got a phone call.
It was Memphis's WDIA. He drove the 50 miles and interviewed on the spot.
At the end of everything, they had given me this fat contract, and they even said to me, "We're going to even give you a company car to drive." And this was February of 1983, and the rest is history.
But the drugs were still in his system.
I was doing drugs like crazy. I just started praying a lot.
He says his large family never pried. They, too, just prayed.
I went to work one morning after being out all night, and I called the general manager of the radio station.
He told him he needed help.
So June of 1985, I walked into the St. Joseph Rehab Center, stayed there for 30 days, haven't touched drugs and alcohol since. Listen, I want to make it clear.
After 44 years in radio, he's known around the nation for his Bobbyology.
Bobbyology is my thought pattern. I'm not willing to say just anything. I'm more willing to say things to get your attention in a positive manner. You might get pissed off at first. Back in 1986, I decided that it would be a great idea for us to start putting talk shows on the radio station.
Most stations had one talk show per week.
I wanted us to be able to talk to our listeners every day about what was going on every day.
From Billboard Music Awards to Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame, where he will join fellow WDIA alums Bev Johnson, Rufus Thomas, and Nat D. Williams, Bobby O.J.'s awards are plenty.
It leaves a legacy behind, for my family and, of course, for me. And here's a guy who came from the cotton fields of Mississippi, just a high school graduate, but I've managed to work at some of the biggest radio stations in America. I have met some of the biggest stars in America. Even though it's been, some ups and downs, it's been more fun than anything.